Hello and welcome to another revision video. Today we're looking at the Foundation Tier Revision Workbook from Edexcel, and we're doing their topic 29 or page 29, and that's their factorising, and it's factorising into a single bracket. So key behind factorising is you're looking for a common factor of both parts of the expression. In this case 3 is the common factor, so we take 3 outside the bracket, and then what would we need to multiply 3 by to get 3x? That would be x. Let me turn my pen on. And what do we need to times 3 by to get 6? That would be 2. Similar process this time. We've got 6 as our common factor, and we would need to times 6 by a to get 6a, and we need to times it by 3 to get 18. And for this one, this time our common factor is 2. And we would need to times 2 by p to get 2p, and we would need to times 2 by minus 3 to get minus 6. Okay, for D, this time the common factor is 5. We've already got a step over here, and we would need to times 5 by y to get 5y, and we need to times 5 by minus 3 to get minus 15. And here our common factor is 3. We would need to times 3 by t to get 3t, and we would need to times 3 by 8 to get 24. And for F, our common factor is 4. We need to times 4 by g to get 4g, and we need to times it by minus 5 to get minus 20. And that's our question 1 done. Question 2, we're taking it up a level. We've got some algebra that we can take out, not just a number. And for all of them, we've only got algebra that we can take out. So we take x out of our common factor to the first one because we've got an x common to both parts. We need to times x by x to get x squared, and we need to times it by 6 to get 6x. For part B, we take x out as our common factor, and we need to times x by x to get x squared, and by minus 4 to get minus 4x. For C, we take x out again, and we would need to times x by x to get x squared, and we need to times it by minus 9 to get minus 9x. For D, x has already been taken out for us, so x times by x would give us x squared, and x times by minus 12 would give us minus 12x. Again, for this one, we take x out of that common factor, and we need to times x by x to get x squared, and by 5 to get 5x. And for F, again, we take x out as our common factor. I can sort my laptop out. And we need to times it by minus 1 to get minus x. And for question 3, we can take out a number and an algebra term. So for the first one, we can take 3, and we can also take out p. So we need to times 3p by p to get 3p squared, and we need to times 3p by 2 to get 6p. For this one, we can take 8y out as a common factor, and we would need to times 8y by y to get 8y squared, and we need to times it by minus 3 to get minus 24y. For part C, this time number part is going to be 9 and algebra part is going to be t, so we take 9t out as our common factor, and we need to times that by t to get 9t squared, and we need to times it by minus 4 to get minus 36t. Okay, for this one then, we're looking at taking out our common factor of 4d, and we'd need to times 4d by d to get 4d squared, and by plus 3 to get 12d. For part B, this time we take out 6x. We need to times that by x to get 6x squared, and by minus 3 to get minus 18x. And for the final one on this row, we take 7n out as our common factor, and we need to times that by n. Well, I've not set that out very well. Let me try that again. We need to times that by n to get 7n squared, and by minus 5 to get minus 35n. Question 5. Here are some factors. Write down the factors of 6x squared minus 9xy from the list. Okay, so we're going to have quite. So for this, it can either be what we can take outside the bracket. So I'll do what we can take outside the bracket first of all. And it's not fully factorised. So anything that we could take outside the bracket, that would be 3. We could also take out 3x. And we couldn't take a 3xy because that's not common to both parts. So we could only take that out. And then technically speaking, write down the factors. Because it would be creating a multiple, we could have anything that we could have inside the bracket as well as factors. So we could have, so if I took 3 out as a factor, this would be a factor. So we could have 2x squared minus 3xy. And we could also take out, if we took 3x out as a factor, that would leave us with 2x minus 3y. So we could have that as a factor as well. Okay, write down all of the factors of this one. So I'm going to do this slightly differently. So I'm going to kind of factorize it and put commas in between instead of brackets. So I could, in theory, the first factor pair would be 1 and 12mn plus 4m squared. Technically that would be a factor. Then if I imagine taking 2 out, I could have 2, and that would have, my factor pair for that would be 6mn plus 2m squared. I could take out 4 as a factor, and that would give me, my factor pair for that would be 3mn plus m squared. And then I've got at least another, I've got another 4. I could take 2m out as a factor, and that would leave me my factor pair of 6n plus 2m, and then my final pair would be, I could take 4m out, and then my factor pair for that would be 3n and m. So that's all my factor pairs. Okay, and then part 6. Show that when x is a whole number, such and such is a multiple of 3. Okay, so my process for this is I'm going to expand the brackets. So that would give me 10x plus 15 minus 4x, and then minus 3 times by minus 4 times by minus 3 would be 12. And then if I tidy that up, that would give me 6x plus 27. And then we're saying that that's a multiple of 3, so we're going to say that that can be equal to taking 3 out as a factor. And I do realise that we could have taken, so if I take 3 out as a factor, that would be 2x plus 9. So 3 is a factor. There we go. Okay, hope you found that helpful. That was section 29 from the Foundation Tier Revision Workbook from Edexcel. and that was on the topic of factorising, and that's really just factorising into a single bracket. Subscribe if you like.